chosen ones. Word from God. I have a word for the chosen ones from God. The word is from Genesis chapter 46 and verses 2 to 4. It says, God spoke to Israel in visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. Then he said, I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also surely bring you back again. And Joseph's own hand will close your eyes. I looked up what it biblically means to be made into a great nation, and it referred to God blessing Abraham with the promised land of Canaan. God promised to make Abraham into a great nation as well, Genesis 13:15. It reads as follows, For all the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. I ask what it meant to be made into a great nation in Genesis 46:3. God gave his approval of Jacob's move to Egypt. The promises are still in effect. In fact, God tells Jacob that he will fulfill this promise to make a great nation to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in Egypt. God's promise to his chosen family included the borders of their future nations. What is the meaning of this third verse? A large family, headed by Jacob, is in the process of moving from their home in the promised land of Canaan to Egypt. Jacob is headed to be reunited with his long-lost son Joseph. This move will also protect the family from a severe famine in the land, Gen. 26:33, to offer sacrifices to God. In response, God is speaking to Jacob, also called Israel, Gen. 35:10. Here God formally identifies himself as El, a title he has often used in Genesis. There can be no question that the one speaking to Jacob is the God of his father Isaac. Though God has spoken to Jacob relatively often in Genesis, this will be the last recorded instance where he speaks directly to one of the patriarchs. God's next recorded revelation of himself will be to Moses several centuries into the future Exodus. God's message is that Jacob should not be afraid to leave behind the promised land to move his family to Egypt, because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob each took any departure from the land very seriously since God promised it to them, Genesis 13:15. And to leave it behind could be viewed as a loss of faith in the promises of God. God answers Jacob by approving this move to Egypt and reassuring him that his promises are still in effect, as well as telling Jacob that he will fulfill his promise to make a great nation of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in Egypt. God's promise to this chosen family included the borders of their future nations. However, God would not be limited by the borders when keeping the promise to multiply Israel as the sands or the stars. Their numbers and national identity would grow to mighty proportions in Egypt, Exodus 1:7. Then it says, I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will surely bring you back again, and Joseph's own hand will close your eyes, meaning that God is speaking to Jacob in a night vision or an awakened dream, assuring him not to be afraid to leave behind the land and settle in Egypt, for the promise still holds. In fact, God said he will make Jacob's people into a great nation in the land of Egypt, Exodus 1:7. God wants Jacob to know that his ability to keep his promise is not restricted by borders, and he will still do all that he has promised. Now he insists that he will go with Jacob down to Egypt, like the promise God made to Jacob when he left behind Canaan the first time when running from Esau. Behold, I am with you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Genesis 28:15. God, using a emphatic language, statement of fact, promises Jacob that he will bring him back to the promised land. It is not a promise that Jacob will not die in Egypt, for Jacob will soon pass away and will be buried by Joseph in the family burial tomb in Canaan, Genesis 50. God's meaning is that Israel, the nation of Jacob's offspring, will return to their promised land. God also includes the tender promise that Jacob's beloved son Joseph, whom he thought was dead, will be the one to close Jacob's eyes after his own peaceful death. This is God's final revelation to the patriarchs of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that he will keep all of his promises. In conclusion, of the 144,000 of God's chosen ones, the Lord is assuring you that he is about to give you the land he promised long ago to your forefathers, and that no border has any kind of restriction when it comes to God, for his word says all things are possible with God, meaning no matter where you currently are living, he will make you into a great nation in that very place while being by your side wherever you go, and he will bring you back again. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time family. Hasta la vista baby.